Alright Bonehawks, this video is all about Quan, and in this video I'm going to share my strategy with you with how I've been playing him, why I think it's effective, and what exactly you need to do with some setups, some combos, and some traps to make it all work and kind of mesh together. So, that being said, we're not going to drag out this intro too long, let's get into it.
Accept your death.
So Quan, without a doubt, is one of the slower characters in the game, and generally in fighting games you can tell what they want a character to do by characteristics like this. So he has a pretty bad down 1, 9 frame startup. His down 4 has decent range, but yeah, his pokes up close and his startup frames are all fairly slow. Standing 1 is his fastest move at 8 frames. So this is kind of telling me that we don't want Quan to be up in their face, and that, given the fact that he has some of the best projectiles in the game, tells me we want to come up with a strategy to keep our opponents away. There are going to be some matchups where this doesn't work, obviously matchups with teleport characters like Raiden or Scorpion or something like that, but against characters that kind of have to move in on you, this strategy works fantastic, and I have been using it with lots of success. So, the main part of our strategy, the main thing that we want to do is we want to maintain distance, and we want to get this on the screen. Okay, because this leads to this, which is insane chip and insane combo damage and all that kind of stuff. So that's our main goal. So we need to understand how to get there. So let's look at the startup frames of this move first. It starts up in 12 frames, but we need 44 frames to recover. And this is where you need to know some frame data in order to get these setups to all be as effective as they can be. So that is 56 frames that we need in total to guarantee for us to get this portal open, and that's not even taking into consideration startup of the actual projectiles that we can use from the portal. So first of all, we're going to go through, and I'm not going to talk any specific cameos until the end of this, because I want this to be as generic as possible, because everyone uses characters differently in this game, and yeah. So the first thing that we can do to try and get that, especially off the start of the round, is we want to get some sort of a counter combo on our opponent. So our combos kind of can look something like this, like if they jump at you, you hit them with this, boom, boom, boom. And I like to end with the forward 4-4, which gives us 39 hit advantage and full screen presence. So with that hit advantage, it's not the 56 frames that we need to start this up, but it's going to take more than 56 frames for them to recover from that hit and try and move in on us. And at that point, we've already got our portal out, and maybe we're kind of backing away, moving our portal with us. Don't forget to do that as well. That's something I'm focusing on myself. So that is one way that we can do it to start the match, to open up the opponent. Because again, we're not going to be like full screen right off the bat. We have to kind of play some spacing and footsies and look for some sort of an opening, and then hit them with whatever combo we can to get that hit advantage, to get that portal out. Now, you don't have to raw go into this move, obviously, because again, it's not guaranteed. So there's a couple things we can do after the combo. So you kind of want to get a read on what your opponent's doing, because sometimes they'll try and move in right away. And this is where we can kind of trap them a little bit. So we do our same combo, whatever the combo is to get started. You end it in your forward 4-4. And instead of going right into that, we're going to place the Bone Dome right in front of them. Not on them, but right in front of them. So if they try and move forward at all, they're going to get stuck into that. And then from the safety of having that on the screen, because that is guaranteed, that starts up in 25 frames and it's active for 150. You do have to use a bar to get it active to actually stay as a trap, but the way that we build meter once we start zoning is absolutely crazy. So that 150 frames that it is going to start at will give us way more than enough time to not only call this out, but also start throwing some projectiles. And then once we start throwing the projectiles, this is where we can kind of start to link things together. But right now we're just talking about how to get the actual portal onto the screen. Okay, so there's the one way. So there's two ways: is just end the combo the regular way and just throw it up, hope for the best. You're not going to have the greatest advantage, but it is a way to get it up there. And the second way that we've seen so far is using a trap to place it there, hide behind the safety of your trap, and then open it and start shooting stuff. Okay? Now, there's the third way that I've been using as well, that I've been having some pretty decent luck with. And this one I've been using against characters that have really annoying projectiles that can kind of either hit me out of my animation of this, or can challenge me. They're really fast. Liu Kang's one that comes to mind. So yeah, and that's is using Big Chompy. So use Big Chompy, and you can send them slow. I find that if you start using this option too much, they kind of catch on and they can jump over him. So you want to kind of mix this up, and once you mix these strategies all up and together, and then they're not really sure what to do, where to go, That's where things start to happen. So we had a combo like this, right? Throw big chompy. If big chompy hits them, then they get down. Obviously, we get the hit advantage, and then we have the portal open. Or if they block big chompy, I believe we're still plus 30 something. Plus 62, which is way more than. And then you still have the 74 active frames, so you're definitely guaranteed to kind of do this, then standing 4 into your projectiles and start getting your projectiles going. And if you find that they're reading big chompy, you can change the speed. So you either just have them go the medium speed, or really speed it up and have them go fast. All three options give us plenty of time to get our portal up and active, although the slow one is definitely the best, but also the easiest for our opponent to avoid. So use it sparingly, and make sure that when you do any of these setups, that you really pay attention to how your opponent responds, how they counter, and all that kind of stuff, because you want to be able to switch it up accordingly, because you don't want to just keep wasting, especially since you're wasting meter on this. Yeah, you don't want it to be, sorry, you don't want to be wasting meter. You want to make sure that you're using it effectively, and if you can use a bar of meter to get your portal out and start some shenanigans, you'll find that you start building your bar back really fast. Like we just built back 3/4 of our bar with just one little portal sequence. So, and we'll talk about the portal sequences next, and then just wanted to talk about the setup first and the ideas. And the last one isn't really the greatest way, but I have found that it does get some people. So if somebody tries to start a projectile war with you full screen, and you can react to the startup with their projectile, depending on who it is. Sub-Zero, for example, is a fairly easy one. You can connect the standing 4 into the bone dome, put them in the bone dome, especially the enhanced one. That will cause you enough time to open your portal and start your shenanigans. So we talked about getting combos into the portal, we've talked about how to set up using some special moves, and now we're ready to talk about what to do when the portal's actually out and active. So once you get the portal out, almost every time what I do, which I find is really good, is just throwing one of these out. Because there's 2 mids there, they have to block the mids. The mids are 18 block advantage, which jails into your standing 4. It is a little bit tricky in the timing there, so you do have to practice it. I found that even in practice mode, I was sometimes still able to duck it if I didn't get it like super exact for whatever reason. But so the most basic of basic setups is just looping that into itself. And there, you've brought them down from 1,000 health to 919.5. So I mean, even that is like, you know, like a good counter poke, or not quite a down 2, but decent damage. And that's if they blocked it. So if they don't respect the frame trap and they block the original skulls, but they get hit by the standing 4 and then block the other skulls, because that standing 4 does 70 damage, you've just netted yourself 140 damage in just projectiles alone. And that's assuming that they blocked both of the purple skulls, which do 35 damage on block, and got hit by the standing 4 and then blocked the other 3. So that right there is like, we're starting to get to like small combos types of thing going on. And we're keeping them full screen, right? And if they block the second one of this, we're still at plus 18, which can still give us some advantage to start to get a setup going again. So additionally, you can use his overhead one to kind of cover the complete space in there if you think they're going to try and traverse that. I don't use this one a whole lot because I don't find it super useful, and because of 3 mids moving forward, unless they're right in my face, which I'm usually not going to throw projectiles if they're right in my face, I'm going to go for the guaranteed chip with something like that, which is going to do a little bit more damage and building more meter. So I don't use this a whole lot unless for whatever reason I feel kind of like they're going to try and jump or close this distance in some way, then I'll go for the read. And in my basic Quan cheat guide, I did mention that you get 2 special moves before this goes away, or you can use 1 enhanced move, or you can mix it up in the smart way and do 1 just regular move and then end it with an enhanced move to get 1 enhanced move that's going to cause the portal to go away anyways, and then get a little bit of extra damage or a little bit of extra chip or a setup or something like that. So let's take a quick break here and just show you a little bit of a breakdown of kind of what we've built from the start, where we hit the opponent with the combo, to the end, and let's say that they respect all their stuff, they're blocking all of our zoning. Yeah, so that's almost 400 damage from just projectile setup. So one combo into projectile, and we've built back pretty much the entire bar that we use for that setup. So that's just kind of a recap of where we are right now of our little zoning. And again, that's assuming that they block all of the zoning that we do. They don't get hit by anything. They're just blocking it. So from there, you can either use a enhanced move instead of the second one here to get a setup for another portal, or you can try and use the plus frames off of these skulls here to either set it up again or get something else going. So you could do something along the lines of this per se. And you're just kind of looping itself into itself over and over again. But there is no guarantee that you won't get hit out of sending out Big Chompy again after this. Again, so then it's basically just looping whatever way that you want to set that portal up again, as long as you've kept them full screen. Additionally, you can use a meter burn second move of your portal to guarantee this even more. The meter burn Big Chompy, I'm not sure how I feel about it, because I want to use this move more to trap my opponent than I do that I actually want to get that combo. If it hits, I get the combo, cool. But you have to be really attentive to see whether it hits them or not. And it's very slow, so chances are it probably won't. So I generally err on the side of going with something like this, and like this. And those plus frames, go for that again. Go into a sequence again, rather than use the purple one. I do every once in a while just to kind of throw off, and that's what zoning is. You really have to make sure that you don't get too patterny. It's the same with you're doing rushdown. It's just from a different distance. You don't want to do the same patterns over and over again. You want to keep it mixed up. And yeah, again, you can do something like this into the meter burn one of these. Because it has the ones that kind of come down in front, you're kind of covering that space to try and get one of those out safely again. Although the frame data isn't nearly as good as one of these kind of guys, plus 18, so you do have to be aware of that. And then, yeah, it's basically just looping whatever setup that you want to use to get your portal back out again, and just doing the whole thing again. So let's see if I can't show you a bit of a sequence here where we try and lock them down full screen. So that's a half health sequence right there. From 1,000, almost half health, 1,000 to 521. And just using projectiles, basically. We did one combo, and that one combo set us up for all of that damage. And we weren't even done. We could have kept going. And this is kind of where I need to add in like the Kameo portion of it, because your Kameo can also extend this kind of thing as well. For me, I have Sonya, who has a mid projectile, who's plus 17 if I don't hold it. And if I do hold it, even the littlest bit, we got up to plus 47. And now that's pretty much a free trap. And if I hold it even further, we go to plus 58. That's a free trap out. And having a Kameo that can do that in between all the craziness, remember, this is a mid projectile. They have to block it or jump over it, and that requires some timing. We'll kind of extend this, so you can use this inside of your zoning. So say you do something like this, blah, 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 guaranteed Sonya, a little bit of extra time just to get that out, or you could use it afterwards to try and get that trap out again, so things like that. And of course, it's a different meter, not tied to your super meter at all, but still building your super meter as you're doing those moves. So some other Kameo things you could do. Sector's another one. Motaro's another one. This low tail shot or his tail turret. The reason that I picked Sonya is because the recovery is there. Like, that comes back super quick. So you can kind of just fire that into any sequence, and it really helps pay off as far as Quan zoning goes. But at the end of the day, the Kameo is the creativity, so it's up to you how you want to play. I find this gameplay style really, really fun and really, really effective because it gets into people's heads a lot. Like, a lot of people are like, why are you spamming me? Why are you doing this? Why are you like this? And then they start playing really emotionally and less like logically. And there's a whole other level of gameplay to that I just absolutely love, playing a mental game as well as the physical game. So yeah, so that's kind of how I've been playing Quan Chi right now. It's been rather effective in most matchups. Again, the Raidens, the Scorpions, those kinds of things aren't quite as effective. And you do have to be careful against things like Sub-Zero Kameo, for example, who can just throw on the anti-projectile at any point. But if you lock them down, it's going to be hard for them to do that, and also just hit them with a quick standing forward. You see them pulling up? If you see a Kameo coming in on the other side of the screen, you just throw the standing four out, it's going to hit the Kameo. Okay? Every time. Motaro Reflect, you see Motaro on the screen, just boom. Standing four hits him out every time. I'll actually just show you right now through the powers of the internet. So yeah, say we just see Motaro come out, so like, haha, Reflect. Boom, standing four. Kick him off the screen, take a second. Alternatively, you can do something like this. If you're not sure if he's going to try and use Motaro on reaction, you can do something like this. And it'll hit him out, or it just won't even reflect it, you know, like, just knocks it up into the air, and if we didn't get anything reflected back at us, well, we got the Motaro on the screen, and maybe we come up and we slap Motaro or something like that. You got to be aware of the anti-zoning things in this game as well. I'll show you a little one with Sub-Zero. So your opponent's not being careful, they have this Sub-Zero armor, they just throw it out. When we just kick, Sub-Zero armor's gone, Sub-Zero's on cooldown. They can't use Sub-Zero for a while. That means we can get some fun party shenanigans going on. And remember, this is a special cancelable move, so you can do something like that into, like, say, the Enhanced Bone Dome. And now they've just got themselves in the dome into more fun because they can't move. Just because they try to do the anti-Sub-Zero Kameo. So, in closing, his zoning is absolutely insane. The traps and the things that you can set up with him are absolutely insane and super fun. Super, super fun character. Yeah. And hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions about anything that I went over, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked it, subscribe, as we do that kind of stuff all the time. Leave a like if you found it useful. Hashtag Bonehawks and all that stuff. And we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.